The market's pumping, everything is looking very, very tasty right now. And you're wondering whether or not you should just ape into this crypto pump. Now, before we start, guys, I need all of you to hold your horses. Chill out for a second. Don't start to FOMO into the market, because in today's video, we're going to find out what's causing the pump, whether or not you should ape into the pump. But before we get into that, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe, leave a Lex Go in the comments. Let's get it. All right, guys. So crypto, or Bitcoin specifically, has been pumping for nearly 2 years now. It feels like a lifetime. However, people do not care about Bitcoin because our precious altcoins are not pumping, right? Who gives a shit about Bitcoin when our altcoins are still down? Now, not every altcoin is down. And what you're starting to see are people jump from narrative to narrative, or pumping coin to pumping coin. That's one of the most common things that I do get in my comment section is, why would I buy this coin when this coin pumped 300% in the week, right? You're gonna miss coins, guys. You're gonna miss coins. You can't catch everything. And that's just the nature of the game. Now, first of all, why is everything pumping? Well, why is Bitcoin pumping? Why has Ethereum been pumping? Why did we know it was gonna pump? It was because of the institutional adoption. Okay, whether or not people like Germany, the US government are selling, you got big institutions like BlackRock, Grayscale buying, okay? And now you're seeing a lot of these new institutions try to add Bitcoin to their balance sheet. Not only that, they're putting a big focus on Ethereum right now. You saw World Liberty Finance has just been buying the living shit out of Ethereum over the past year. It didn't really matter whether it's 3.5K, whether it was 2K, they just continued to buy, guys. And these ETFs changed the game completely. So we saw an early cycle because it was so much easier for people to then allocate their pension funds into Bitcoin, into crypto, and you're seeing more ETFs be filed, right? Are we going to get an XRP ETF? Are we going to get a Solana ETF? Is that Doge ETF going to get filed, right? Maybe by the time of this video, one of them has been, but who knows? These spot ETFs have been increasing the demand for Bitcoin. And right now, what all of you guys need to understand is these ETFs is paper Bitcoin, right? So the ETF provider is going to have to buy the Bitcoin in case anybody does want to convert for spot. I don't think anyone is going to do that right now. But you already know the Bitcoin halving narrative has been something that historically has lit the fuse for a bull run. And right now, we're at the very end of the halving phase, right? If you haven't watched my 500 days before, 500 days after the Bitcoin halving cycle video, I'll leave a link for that in the description. And we did say that in the last 150 days of the cycle, that's when you see Bitcoin go parabolic and it just go up only, which it has. That's where you see ETH start to outperform. That's where you see altcoin season and the rotation into altcoins start to happen as well, guys. Now, a lot of you already know, I don't think we're going to be getting everything pumping, but we have allocated to a lot of top plays like your ICP, Tau, Cardano, ETH, SUI as well. And that is because I do think that's where the money is going to flow, guys, even without spot ETFs, okay? So what you got to do is you got to follow the AI hype, the gaming hype, and then whatever the layer one solution hype is at the time. And that is going to be, say, like SUI, for example. I think ADA will come back as well, right? So look where the institutions are putting their money, right? You can track everything on chain. You can track to see if you want to see what Trump's buying, right? You can have a look at everything on chain. It's there, verifiable for all of you guys to have a look at. Now, rate cuts is a bit of a, I'm sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place with rate cuts. I think the market prices things in advance, and it usually does, right? When we had Trump going into office, they priced that in. And then he launched a shitcoin, the market went down. I think that now, you know, you can go and check on FedWatch the percentage chance for a rate cut. It was at 0. I think as of today, it's something like 78% for a rate cut in September. And you already know what that means, guys. As rates come down, risk on assets start to skyrocket because people are betting again. They've got more money to be allocating funds at a cheaper interest rate. Okay, so the rate cuts I do think are being priced in, and if they are priced in already, then maybe we've only got until September at the latest for this next expansive phase before we see a big correction, maybe a big blow off top going into the end of the year. But realistically, I'm going to be trying my best to get out of the pump before the end of the year, guys. Okay, so should you wait? Should you jump in? You need to be seeing what coins in your portfolio or what narrative is at a really low right now, guys. Now, one of the big narratives that I've been pushing into, not only AI, not only gaming, not layer ones, is going to be like layer twos. So I've been buying a lot of things like Arbitum, optimism. Because if you look at the chart from a person with no idea about the cryptocurrency market, they look absolutely dead. But then you go and you check on-chain data and you can see that they've got massive inflows, right? TVL for Arbitrum, I think it's like nearly 2 billion, maybe a little bit more than that, right? The volume across the Arbitrum layer is insane. So you need to position yourself in things like that. We saw the same thing with Ethereum earlier in the year. All the stats were rising. I told all of you guys, everything is looking really, really good. And it looks like we're going to get an expansion phase. And what happened? We did, guys. So we need to be making sure that we're ahead of the crowd with those trades. Even things like the base ecosystem. Allocate some funds into the base ecosystem, guys. Again, not financial advice. You can do what you want. But you know that we have been buying things like Aero, right? Aero's doing really, really well for us. Again, another one that's got insane TVL right now. Moonwell as well. TVL, not as great as what it was, but I do still think as a DeFi lending platform, that is going to be one on base that does pick up very well. Again, ample intellectual property being tokenized. We spoke about this in a previous video. So go through the base ecosystem and see what coins are, number one, at good lows. They look undervalued. The fundamentals are still strong. They're not just printing coins. And number two, how that's going to impact the crypto community when we do get the next leg, right? So we saw Aerodrome have a pump of like 120%, right? And that was just a small little move over the past few weeks. So again, what we would do is if we're looking to buy something like Aerodrome, something like maybe even ICP that's in a clear accumulation right now, you can just dollar cost average in, right? The market doesn't care about your perfect entry. It really doesn't, right? You're never going to get the perfect entry at the bottom or the top. And again, the big moves happen probably before you feel like it's going to happen, right? You can look at the market just going sideways on the floor for ages. You don't buy because it's going to go lower. It's going to go lower. I saw so many accounts saying, right, Bitcoin's going to 10K. It never went to 10K. And then a lot of people are sidelined. Okay. You don't have to do the same thing at that extent, but if you are looking at a coin and you're thinking, I want a part of this coin, but you know, it's going to go a little bit lower, you could just buy like $10 a day, guys. Okay. Start small, invest consistently, whether it's $50 a week, whether it's $500 a week. It doesn't really matter how much you're investing. It's going to smooth out eventually, right? I think there's a curve on Bitcoin. If I've got a graphic, I'll overlay it here, where it shows if you invested $100 in Bitcoin every week for the past something like 5 years, you would have hundreds of thousands of dollars just from $100 a week, guys. Okay. So again, we said when the market's pumping, what we're looking to buy, safest thing to buy is going to be Bitcoin. Yes, it's super high right now, but again, we can get our dollar cost average in. I probably wouldn't dollar cost average until we do enter the bear market. Something that I will dollar cost average into and continue to dollar cost average into is going to be Ethereum. We've got our AI narrative plays like Tau ICP, RWAs like Ondo, right? I am DCAing into it. Solana, probably leaving that out for now, right? This thing's gone from $8 to $300, and that's all based on the fact that people are just pumping out shit coins on Pump Fund. But the main thing is, don't get burned, guys. So, you know, crypto's pumping. Should you buy now? If you buy into coins that are super up, right, you're going to get burned. If you go all in on one coin and you full port one coin, like some of the ICP community have, and they 8-year gang it, again, you guys can do that if you want to. You know, if you full port that and then something bad happens, or, you know, you never get any price action, you're going to be on the sidelines watching everybody else be happy with their gains. And that's another reason why some of the comments I've replied to you guys and I say, you know what, if this coin isn't moving, it doesn't really make a difference to me because I've diversified my portfolio, right? So don't go all in. You can have a DGen bag for all of you gamblers, right? We all know that I love the casino. I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. But if you want to gamble on micro caps, just like keep it small, guys. Keep it 5 to 10%, because again, if you're not going to sell your big bags, you're not going to sell your micro caps. Remember the video I made where I said I made the 60x, right? We invested like, I think it was like $100 and it went to 6K, sold it, and I still wasn't happy with my gains. And I look back at that and that coin's pretty much at zero now. So I'm so glad that I did sell it, but at the time it didn't feel like I wanted to sell it because you're gambling. And what you need to do is just stay updated. Don't be emotional, guys. Okay. Easier said than done. You got to watch videos like this. You got to just have a mental check to see where you are. If your coin's pumped or if you're feeling extreme FOMO, it's probably a sign that you just need to just let go of that one because you're not going to make the right decisions with that coin, guys. So again, look, final thoughts. I do think we still have time in the crypto market. I do think that there's a lot of opportunity in select coins that all of you need to do your own research in. But if you don't have that much to invest, if you're feeling FOMO, if you're thinking, well, I just want to go full port this coin because so-and-so said it on Twitter, you know, take a step back, okay? Use strategy, not emotion. You haven't missed the bull run yet. We still got a few months left. And again, to make sure you don't miss it, you know what to do. You got to like the video, leave a comment to let me know what coin specifically you want me to cover in the next video. I'm seeing you in the next one. Peace.